the Healing Through Love podcast with Charlene Lynch and Rose Davidson. In episode 4, Ashlee Hoelck explains to us how you can overcome chronic pain with mindset work.
Welcome to another episode of Healing Through Love. Each week, we share ideas, experiences, and resources to increase the awareness of domestic and family violence and to empower survivors to grow and thrive. We talk with experts who share their advice, or with people who have experienced abuse, no matter where they are on their journey. This is all about healing through love. And now, here are your hosts, Charlene Lynch and Rose Davidson.
My guest today is Ashlee Hoelck, and Ashlee is a trauma coach and owner of Phoenix Rise Coaching, where she supports women who have endured toxic or abusive relationships. She draws from her personal journey of healing from 12 years of debilitating physical pain caused by emotional trauma from an abusive relationship, and uses this to help others who are going through similar experiences with mindset work, meditation, and forgiveness. Welcome, Ashlee, and thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my goodness, we had a bit of a start, but we'll get there in the end. It's just push on. Now, I guess tell me a little bit more about yourself, Ashlee.
Yeah, definitely. So, right now I'm living in Texas with my family, and we bought our first house, and everything is going so great right now. Yeah, we're absolutely thriving. But, I had kind of a rocky start. I was in an abusive relationship in my teens. That was about 4 years long. And after I got out of that, I started to heal, but I had this chronic back pain that started when I was about 21. And it wasn't just like a little bit of a backache. It was pretty debilitating. It was always a level of 6 or higher. I was throwing my back out like once or twice a year for the first 5 years. And I never figured out why. I went to doctors, I did physical therapy, I did all these physical things and going to the doctors, things like that. And no one could ever give me any answers as to why it started, where it came from, how to get rid of it, right? They just kind of wanted to prescribe me pills, which I didn't want to do. And I kind of surrendered to it. I thought this was going to be my life. I really thought that I'd end up in a wheelchair by the time I was 50 or 60, And in 2020, I decided that I just didn't want that pain anymore. And every morning I would write, my gratitudes and 10 goals or affirmations that I was working towards. And the biggest one was I've been back pain free since 2020. So I knew that I needed to figure out a way to end this pain. And a few months after that, I heard about emotional trauma being stored as physical pain. And honestly, when I first heard that, I don't even know where I saw it, somewhere online. I thought, that's crazy. That doesn't make any sense. There's no way that that's even possible. And, I blew it off for a couple of days. But then I was like, you know what? Maybe this is possible. I've tried everything else. I've tried all the other things possible, and I need this pain to go. So maybe this could be it. I was willing to do something new to get somewhere different, right? And then I ended up in a manifestation course online, just thinking it was going to be a lot of fun. I was going to learn manifestation techniques. And it ended up being this deep healing container. There was a lot of mindfulness work. There were a lot of these deep guided meditations, inner child work, cord cutting, harnessing the power of forgiveness. And when I was in that, I realized that although it had been 12 years since I left the abusive relationship, I realized that it was still very present in my life. I was still thinking about it a lot. I was still angry, and I still had hate for this person. There was a lot of why did this happen to me? I can't believe you did this to me, kind of those thoughts that I was always thinking about. And it would affect daily things in my life. Like, well, I can't do that because this had happened, And so it was about 5 weeks of this deep healing, a lot of releasing, a lot of crying, a lot of sobbing, constructive journaling, finding the lessons and the growth, and just kind of releasing it all from me. And after about 5 weeks of this, I woke up and the pain was gone. And after 12 years of just this constant pain, and then for it to be gone, it was a miracle. And honestly, I didn't believe it. I thought, okay, today's just a weird day. But in October, we had family visiting at our house that we had just bought, and I spent most of their visit laying down on the ground, talking to them from the ground because it hurt for me to stand or sit too much. And then in November was when the pain disappeared. So it was wild.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I do understand, though, how trauma can bring about mental health issues. I'm a survivor of incest, and I've been diagnosed with 3 types of mental illness, and but I didn't know that until I was in my 50s. I knew that there was something wrong with me, but to be finally diagnosed and the abuse that I had endured as a child brought these illnesses to the forefront. So it took me a long time to figure out who I was, what I was doing, what life was about. So I totally understand about that, and I'm working towards a better life now. So
one of the most important things that I've learned or realized is that healing isn't a destination. It's not just a place that you get to, because for the longest time I thought that I was as is. I was as healed as I could get. I thought I was done. And now I've realized that it's really just a lifelong journey. We all have trauma in some shape or form, and it's just something that we're always continually working on. It's a healthy habit, like working out. You don't work out for a month and then you're good for the rest of your life. You need to keep up with the habit. And so that's how I look at the healing work that I do, the meditations, all the different modalities that I'm using. They're just healthy habits that stack onto each other. It's something that I'll continue for a very, very long time.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the name of your business, Phoenix Rise Coaching?
Yeah, so I picked that because when I got out of this relationship when I was 20, I was very depressed. I had really bad PTSD. I had lots of different triggers. I would, cower when anyone got near me, and I was suicidal. And it was like I was an empty shell after this person got done with me, because it was emotionally abusive as well. Just kind of got reduced to nothing. So I say that I got reduced to ashes. And then I was reborn into, this amazing, beautiful person that I am now.
Yeah, so Phoenix rising out of the ashes. It's a good name. It's an excellent name. Now, I understand that you are launching your beta program to help other women who've been in abusive or toxic relationships, to help them rebuild their self-worth and to thrive. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. So I've been working behind the scenes to create this program and doing lots of research to find out what the women need in this situation after they've left these toxic relationships. And so I am going to be launching this program. It's called Rise and Thrive. And it's all about rebuilding your self-worth, learning to foster healthy relationships, kind of knowing the difference between both of them, and building your confidence, because a lot of times you're no longer confident in yourself. You no longer have this positive self-worth. And so it's so important.
Yeah, so the Rise and Thrive sounds like a really good name. And so, what modalities are you using to, bring about this life change for women?
Yes, so I am graduating next month from a coaching certification program, and I'll be certified in modalities such as emotional freedom technique, tapping, clinical hypnotherapy, intuitive life coach. So a lot of that will be integrated into the program. Just one phase of the program is going to be different healing modalities that can be used. Tapping is very helpful because it doesn't really require you to go into the trauma. You can kind of treat the symptoms, right? So if you're having anxiety or stress, you can treat the anxiety and the stress and you don't get stuck in the trauma. Meditation and mindfulness are, of course, a big piece of it. This new perspective of forgiveness is really helpful. That was what was really helpful for me on my personal journey because it allowed me to release a lot of the negative feelings that I had. And so all of these things are going to be incorporated inside of the program, as well as getting the people out of the fight or flight mode, because that's kind of what happens when you have trauma is your brain gets stuck in this constant hypervigilant mode. And when you are rethinking about the trauma of what happened, your brain doesn't know if it's really happening or if it's already happened. So it treats it the same way. And so it'll flood your body with those stress hormones and you have the negative side effects of that stress.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. People that have been through trauma, their mind is a lot different than people who haven't experienced, some sort of life-changing event. I think, I mean, we all go through emotional trauma in some sort, but others, if you've been in an abusive relationship or you've, been abused as a child, and especially if you've been abused as a child, your triggers are, I think, are a lot broader than they would be otherwise.
Yes.
And so I guess how long is this course go for? What's the length of it?
Yeah, so I have it as a 3-month program. It's going to have videos, like video lessons and workbooks, so they can work on it on their own, and then as well as group coaching sessions. So we can learn together, and we can kind of work through things that, that they need more support in, things like that. And I think that 3 months is a good amount of time to get really started and to dive deep into the modalities and to learn them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ashlee, where can people find take advantage of this course?
Yeah, so I am most active on Instagram these days. So it's at Ashlee, ASHLEE_Hoelck, HOELCK. And on there, I've got my website listed, and I've got lots of content about, fostering healthy relationships, rebuilding your self-worth and confidence, and things like that, that they can also take advantage of. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's wonderful. So everyone head over to Ashlee's Instagram page and click on the links and get access to her wonderful course. I'm sure it'll be very helpful for women out there, and perhaps maybe even some men. You might get some men interested too that have been through trauma, and need the same kind of help that that women do. And I know that men go through, through domestic violence and family violence just as much as women do. So yeah, I think those types of courses that you're offering are helpful for both.
Yes. Oh, and I also volunteer with a nonprofit. It's called Healing the Wounds. It's a narcissistic abuse support group. So I think we have 2 support groups a week as well, and we're worldwide. So if anybody needs some support, if they're still in a toxic relationship or if they've just left and they really want to be surrounded by a community of women and there's also a few men who are in that situation, please check them out. It's really great. There's a lot of resources that are offered as well.
Oh, excellent. So where can, what was the name of it again?
It's called Healing the Wounds. And I believe the website's healingthewound.org. I can send that over to you as well.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, if you could do that, it would be good to put in the show notes, and people can take advantage of that, because yeah, it's in the world at the moment. It's sorely needed that these healing modalities for us to be able to move forward, I think, and to find a safe space to be, so that we can, chat with people that have been through similar situations.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of time you feel alone, like you're the only one who's going through it. But the sad fact is there's a lot of people who are going
There
through the
is,
same thing. So,
yeah. When I was going through my trauma as a child, I thought I was the only one. No one else in the world had it. And then when I was seeing the doctor, he said, no, there's lots of people that are abused by family members. And I thought, you've got to be joking me. Other people go through this. They're crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. Ashlee, I guess what else, I guess, can you share with our viewers and our listeners today about how you became a victim to a victor?
I would say that becoming more knowledgeable about it. Like I had said, I thought that I was healed and that was just how I was going to be. And learning more about how the trauma actually affects you. I do a lot of reading. What is it? The Body Keeps the Score is a really, really good book. And learning about the science behind it, of how it actually happens, made me realize, wait, if my brain was rewired, it can be rewired back to what I want it to be. And so just kind of educating myself and learning more about it, I realized that I wasn't stuck, that healing was possible. And now that I've tried some modalities, I'm kind of, exploring, well, what else is out there? There's so many different things. And, I'm a busy mom. I've got 2 kids, we homeschool. So I don't have time to be like going to all these doctors and therapists, things like that, because I have the kids with me 24/7. But there's so many things that you can do at home on your own, guided and on the computer, things like that. So that was really, really helpful to know that there's so much available and accessible.
Yeah, if you were to give advice to somebody, that may be going through a similar situation to what you had, what might that be?
A big thing that I say is the trauma is not your fault, but your healing, it's now your responsibility. It is your responsibility to take control of your healing. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And at the end of the day, the person who hurt you, they're probably not even thinking about you anymore, but you are the one who is still suffering the side effects of it. It could be physical side effects like chronic back pain or fibromyalgia or migraines. And so it's really, as unfortunate as it is now your responsibility to take control of your healing, to find out what works for you and to continue to grow.
Yeah, I think that's really great advice, because not all things work for all people, and you've got to find out what works for the individual to find out what can help and what doesn't help, because fibromyalgia is a bugger of a thing to have, and I so hate it. But yeah, and trying to find out what triggers it is, I still haven't worked it out yet. So yeah, I'm still on my healing journey. Anyway, Ashlee, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
I would just say, if trauma has happened to you, I'm so sorry that that's happened to you, but just keep going. Healing is 100% possible, but it only works if you work it. So just give yourself grace as you go through the processes, and I'm wishing you all of the best.
No, thank you, Ashlee. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. And hello.
There he is, right on time.
Yeah, aren't you a cutie pie? So we'll talk again soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Healing Through Love. You can get further resources, see the show notes, or simply reach out to us via our website at htlaustralia.org. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to your company next time on the Healing Through Love podcast.